Well, technology news now, and Blackberry is pulling out all the stops, it seems, to stay competitive in the smartphone market. Its users will be able to connect with users on other mobile operating platforms via BBM. Well, Toby Shapshak is the editor of Stuff Magazine, a regular contributor to our program, and joins us now on Newsnight. Welcome. Thanks very much for joining us. Blackberry's strategy now, is it simply a survival strategy, or do they actually have something to offer?
Well, it seems like it is, because for the longest time, BBM was one of the key lock-ins to the Blackberry system, and it was a key selling feature for Blackberry phones. But with so many people jumping ship and so many other possibilities, Blackberry's had no choice but to open up BBM and let it run on other platforms, which has been called for years. So now you don't necessarily have to use it just on the two Blackberries that they've recently launched, the Z10 and the Q10, but it'll run on an iPhone and Android as well. And it's very, very interesting, because we're talking about a key lock-in, one of the things that made Blackberry users forced to use another Blackberry if they wanted to stay on the system.
One of the other criticisms of the brand in recent times is that it hasn't been perhaps as robust a phone as others. Does this address those problems?
Well, I think the thing is that these are very sophisticated personal computers. There's a lot of talk lately that the personal computer is dead. It isn't. It's just evolved into a small device like this that'll fit in our pocket. And the issue around all of this is that if you drop it, it's going to damage. Every phone, every sophisticated smartphone should have some kind of protective covering on it. There have been criticisms, and I think they're quite well founded, that they're not as tough as they should be. But the interesting thing, just look at the numbers of BBM users. Blackberry says there are 50 million BBM users around the world. Now, that's a very significant social network in its own right. For 41 million people spend an hour and a half a day on BBM, and something like all BBMs are read within 20 seconds of being received. I mean, those are the figures, that the kind of readership that you see from, or usage you see of SMS.
It's a market that you can't ignore, and you absolutely have to address. This new incarnation, as far as Blackberry is concerned, is this aimed at emerging markets? I read somewhere it's not necessarily available in the United States of America immediately.
It's uncertain when and where and how and what. This is a big event in South Africa, in Florida, called Blackberry Live, that I've been to several times, and it's where Blackberry makes their big announcements. It's kind of hard to take some of the things that CEO Thorsten Heinz says, because recently he said that the tablet will be dead in 5 years. Well, he may or may not be right, but it's very ironic and a little difficult to stomach from a company that launched its own stillborn tablet that cost them, they had to take a write-down of $485
True to say that the brand is moving away from tablets, though, is it?
It never really was in. It was a great piece of hardware, but it simply didn't function in terms of the way a tablet should. It wasn't a standalone device. It was a companion device to a Blackberry phone. So no success for them, but BBM is a very powerful messaging system. About 3 years ago, I had an interview with a couple of the very senior, before Thorsten Heinz's tenure, and I said to them, you guys should buy WhatsApp. And the chief technology officer at the time said to me, why? And I said, because buy it and kill it before it kills your business model. And of course, it simply has done that. WhatsApp has some...
Now they're saying we should have listened to that man, Shapshak. Why did we not do this?
I wasn't the only one. I'd like to claim
Have you had an opportunity to put this thing through its paces yet?
I have. It's a very, very good phone. And I think there's a market of people who are very interested in that little segment of the phone, which is the QWERTY keyboard, and they're very good. And one of my business partners with long nails said it's better for use than a touchscreen, and perhaps Imran can confirm that or not. But this QWERTY keyboard is Blackberry's killer app, and the fact that this phone does that is what's really good.
Toby, we're not going to get Iman's manicure involved in this interview just yet. Just quick, I just want to change tack very quickly. Nokia seems to have come back with something of a vengeance, they're saying. They've launched this new smartphone. Isn't this a brand that we've all but forgotten?
Well, perhaps, but you've got to differentiate the kinds of phones that they sell. They sell the vast majority of feature phones, especially in Africa. I have this 105 model that has 35 days of battery life. Very basic entry-level phone. it's going to clean up in that segment. But the average selling price of feature phones is about 33 euros. This is a year or two old.
Do they have the credentials then to play in the smartphone space?
They certainly do, and I think of in terms of design and feature and quality, they're certainly up there. The quality of the manufacturing is superb. This new 925 Lumia 925 is lighter, a couple of 50 grams or so. That was the biggest criticism of the 920. Much lighter, more, it fits that perception of weight, which is seemingly absurd. But interestingly enough, I think it's the phones just down the market from that. The Lumia 520, 620 and 720 have just been launched in South Africa. The 520 sells for 2,000 Rand and has as many of these features, and I think it's in that middle market range that they're going to be able to play very effectively.
Take all 4 of your phones. By the way, if we phone you, do all 4 phones ring?
Just the one.
Toby Shapshak, editor of Stuff magazine. Always appreciate the insight here on Newsnight.
News that moves. eNCA.com.